I would do a voiceover and share some information that I learned about probiotics and yogurts that are supposedly supposed to be more tolerable for people who have mast cell activation disorder. And maybe it can be helpful to other people in the same way that it was helpful to me. If you have mast cell issues, it can be kind of hard to eat fermented foods because they often will trigger reactions and cause your symptoms to get worse. I know for me, they certainly did, so I was avoiding a lot of fermented foods pretty strictly for the past year, but really I've been avoiding them for, I would say, a good 5 years. I haven't been eating them the way that I once did in my life, where I would have a lot of foods like pickles and yogurt and sauerkraut and olives and just a bunch of foods that were fermented and higher in histamine that I stopped being able to enjoy and have. And in doing so, and then coupled with the fact that I was put on an antacid, which was Pepcid, for the management of my mast cell activation disorder, I feel like a combination of the lack of probiotics from fermented foods and then also the neutralization of the acid within my stomach, creating, a breeding ground for just my whole microbiome to get out of balance. It just kind of threw everything off pretty bad. So I am on a journey to figuring out how to heal my gut in the best way possible. Through my research, I found that there are specific strains in certain yogurts that are tolerable for people who have mast cell activation disorder, usually. Of course, it's not going to be the same for everybody, and there's going to be some people who are really sensitive and have to be cautious with it. But to my understanding, there are actually strains that are supposed to be mast cell stabilizing. And so I looked through some different kinds of yogurts and tried to find yogurts that had the specific strains that were mentioned that were supposedly helpful for stabilizing mast cells. And one of them was actually a yogurt that I used to eat a lot. And so that's what I'm using here. And I took a picture of it, and I will just share it at some point in this video so that if anybody else is, in the same position that I'm in and wants to try to add probiotics in, but maybe you're a little bit nervous that, it might be something that causes an issue for you, I will just link the information that I came across talking about the specific kinds that are supposed to be more tolerable. So I have been having yogurt for the past 4 days. I started off with just a spoonful to see how I would handle it, and I did pretty well. So then I started to add like 3 to 4 heaping spoonfuls into my smoothies a day, and so far I've been doing okay with it. It hasn't been causing me any sort of an issue, and I am pretty happy with that. I had a appointment a couple of weeks ago with my allergist, who tried to reassure me that now that I'm on the cromolyn sodium, I should be able to eat some of the foods that I was avoiding before that were higher in histamine, because my symptoms should be more manageable since I have the mast cell stabilizer and then the antihistamines. So I am trying to gradually add in things that I used to eat that I stopped eating because they were, causing me issues histamine-wise. So I am making a raspberry smoothie, but I am taking the seeds out of my smoothie because I have sensory issues and do not like the seeds in my smoothie. I love raspberries. I love the flavor of them. They are one of my favorite fruits in terms of flavor, but I just can't eat them because they have so many seeds in them. And I found this little strainer, and it takes out, I would say, about 90% of the seeds. So there's some that kind of end up in there, but not the majority of them, which is good because if there were a lot of them in there, I wouldn't be able to eat it. I'm the same way with tomatoes, so I will take all of the seeds out of tomatoes if I eat them, which I don't have tomatoes often because of my acid reflux, and then also the fact that they trigger histamine release. But when I was younger, I would eat them a lot, and yeah, they're also a food that I cannot eat the seeds, and I have to take all of the seeds out of them. So that is what I am doing here. And if you are a raspberry lover and haven't tried something like this and you don't like seeds either, this is a good way to still enjoy, the raspberries in your smoothie and the flavor of it without having all of the seeds in there. I am going to be introducing this upcoming week some foods that are higher in histamine that I've been avoiding because they were giving me issues. Like, I think that they're mandarin oranges or tangerines. They are called halo or cutie oranges. I used to get those by the bag, the big bag full of them, and I would eat those within like a couple of days. They caused me some sort of an issue with, I would have like a mucousy throat after eating them, and I also have issues after drinking orange juice where I will just get a histamine dump and a histamine overload. So I have to avoid citrus fruits, which are a common issue for people who have mast cell activation disorder. But this week I am planning on reintroducing the little cuties or halo oranges to see how I tolerate them and if I do okay. I'm also planning on adding in avocado again, which I've been avoiding for a long time because they cause a lot of problems for mast cell issues as well. And that is a food that I really enjoyed a lot, and just I love avocado. So I'm hoping that I do okay with it and that I can eat them again. Even just once in a while, I will be happy if I can just have them, sparingly, I guess. So I'm going to be trying those this week. As far as reintroducing foods from coming off of eating low FODMAP and all of that, I really haven't reintroduced a lot of the fruits that I wanted to, like apples or mangoes, because those contain a lot of fructose. And the whole reason why I was even starting to eat this way to begin with was because of a fructose intolerance. And so I'm still kind of cautious in regards to adding those into my diet again. But I have been having just a greater variety of different low FODMAP low FODMAP berries, and I also added garlic back in, and I've been eating regular pasta occasionally, white bread, and some onion powder in certain foods, and trying to think of what else, some milk as well, and sour cream. So those are the things that I've tried. I've also had cane sugar. I made some brownies, some gluten-free brownies with some cane sugar. And over the last couple of weeks, I've had a few instances where my stomach felt like it was bothered. It was kind of like rumbling, like I was going to have to go to the bathroom, but I did not go to the bathroom. So that is something that is new for me. I was not experiencing that before. If I felt that way, I would definitely have to go to the bathroom, and it was just unmanageable. So now it has seemed to get to a place where even though I'm eating foods that maybe upset my stomach a little bit, I'm still able to, tolerate them enough to the point where I'm not going to the bathroom like I was. And so that, that makes me happy, and that is good so far for me. And I will just continue to try to gradually reintroduce certain foods and see how I do. And this is the kind of yogurt that I had used and found that is tolerable for a lot of people who have mast cell issues, and I circled the strains of bacteria that are most tolerated. And then this is just a little bit of information about it. And one of them acts as a strong mast cell stabilizer, which I found to be interesting. And this is just showing how many seeds are actually, able to be, I guess, caught with this little strainer here. I am very thankful that I figured out, that this is something that I could do, because there is no way that I could have had any smoothies with raspberries in it any other way. So I thought that I would just share that and show, it really does make a difference in getting a lot of the seeds out of the smoothie. And then I just put my smoothie in the freezer and took it out and ate it like this, and it was pretty good. And so far I haven't been having any sort of an issue with it, and I will just continue to update as I go along.